The floating heart of Lagos. Today Makoko is a bustling network of 6 distinct villages, 4 on water and 2 on land. It is home to an estimated 100 to 250,000 people. They say the water has a memory. It remembers the first paddles that broke its surface 2 centuries ago. It remembers the timber that traveled from the deep forest of the interior to build a city that we eventually tried to forget it. This is Makoko. It doesn't sit on the land, it breathes with the lagoon. In the heart of the world's fastest growing megacity, there is a place where the clock stops at the water's edge. Called the conqueror of the third mainland bridge, there was the silence of the Egun. They didn't arrive with plans for skyscrapers. They arrived with the memory of the ocean. For centuries, the Lagoon has been their ledger, recording every birth in the frame of a canoe and every death in the receding tide. To the bureaucrat on land, this is a map to be redrawn. To the people of the water, this is a soul that cannot be divided. For the skyscrapers of Victoria Island and the gridlock of the third mainland bridge, there was the water. In the 18th century, Makoko was founded not as a city, but as a sanctuary. It began as a small fishing village established by the Egun people, migrant from Badagry and present-day Benin Republic. The location was a gold mine for artisans. The mangroves provided wood, and the lagoon offered an endless supply of tilapia and croaker. They didn't just live by the water, they built their lives on it. In the 1800s, the Egun people didn't see a swamp, they saw a sanctuary. They brought with them the secret of the coast, how to speak to the tides, how to build a home that danced rather than broke. They fled the world and the noise of the land to find peace in the south. They drove Okpekpe wood into the mud, hard wood that turns to stone when the water touches it. Every state is a prayer. Every house is a defiance of gravity. Imagine a foundation made of nothing but gravity and grit. The Egun people are masters of liquid architecture. They select the Okpekpe wood with the care of a jeweler, heavy, dense timber that drinks the salt water and grows harder. Watch the reading of the mallet. It is a dialogue between man and moon. They drive these steels into the salt belly of the lagoon until they find the firm hard pan below. They are pinning their lives to the earth so that the water can carry them. Here, a house isn't a static thing. It is a living vessel that breathes through his flawed boards, kept cool by the thermomans of the lagoon below. As Lagos began to swell into a British colonial hub, Makoko grew in the shadow. By the mid-20th century, land was scarce. The solution, built outward into the lagoon. The engineering. This wasn't haphazard. The community developed a sophisticated system of steel architecture, using hardwood seasoned to resist salt and rot. They raised an entire civilization 5 feet above the tide. The floating economy. It became a self-sustaining ecosystem. If you wanted smoked fish, you went to the women in the canoes. If you needed timber, you went to the sawmill lining the shore. Makoko became the primary source of timber for the growing Lagos metropolis. Here, the canoe is the lane, and the paddle is the heartbeat. Children learn to balance before they learn to walk. It is a city of mirrors. Smoke from the fish drying hot rises like license, blurring the line between the grey water and the hazy sky. To the outward, it looks like chaos. To the local, it is a symphony of trade, timber, and tradition. Step into the Venice of Africa. Stripe away the marble and the tourist. Replace them with the scent of smoldering Egun beans and the silver flash of tilapia. This is a masterclass in urban survival. There are no paved roads, yet nothing in stock. The streets are liquid veins. A woman glanced past, her neck straight as it marched, balancing a martin of smoked fish in her head, while her feet expertly command the paddle. This is an economy of the collective. The sawmill and the shore provide the scraps that fuel the smoking huts. The smoking hut provides the protein that fuels the fishermen. It is a deep loop of human ingenuity built on the surface where most people withdraw. History has not always been kind to Makoko. The land is greedy. In 2012, the City of Light turned his gaze towards the City of Water. The Lagos state government issued a 72-hour eviction notice, citing the community illegal expansion and the proximity to the Third Mainland Bridge as a security risk. Dozens of homes were destroyed by chainsaw and fire, but the world was watching. Images of the demolition went viral, sparkling a global conversation about urban planning, poverty, and the right to housing. The community didn't leave. They dug in their oars and rebuilt. They tore through the wood, calling it a blight. But how do you uproot a people whose roots are not in the soil but in the current? The house is fair, but the community floated. They simply waited for the sirens to fade. Then they reached back into the water and began to build again.
You can't catch me. Hey, give me there.
In the year 2012, the sky was clear, but a man-made storm arrived on the horizon. The government called it urban renewal. The Egun called it erasure. The sound was the worst part. The scream of chainsaws biting into seasoned hardwood. These weren't just building falling. These were ancestral library being shredded. But look closely at the footage of that day. As the homes collapsed into the lagoon, the people didn't flee to the land. They stayed in their canoes. They sat on the water, watching, waiting. Because you can cut a steel, but you cannot evade the tide. When the saw went silent, and the officers went back to their air-conditioned offices, the hammer started again before the sun had even set. The debris of 2022 became a symbol of hope. The Makoko floating school designed by architect Kunle Adeyemi. Though the physical structure eventually succumbed to a storm in 2016, it changed the narrative. It proved that Makoko wasn't a slum to be cleared, but a unique urban experiment that could be improved through design and investment rather than displacement. They were told then they didn't have a school on the water, so they built one that floated. They told them they had no future here, so they bet a generation of engineers who understand the fluid dynamic of survival better than any textbook could teach. Makoko is the ghost that haunts the Lagos dream and the heartbeat that keeps fleet human. From the wreckage, a new philosophy emerged. The land will not give us space, we will claim the air above the waves. The floating school was born in a building. It was an argument in a frame form. It told the world, we are not a problem to be solved, we are a solution to be studied. Even after the great storm took the physical structure, the blueprint remains in the minds of the youth. Today, you see children in floating buses, long canoe clad with bright yellow uniform, navigating the sludge and the beauty. They are learning much while a floating boat under the weight of the lagoon. They are being raised to be amphibious, citizens of a future where the sea levels are rising and the rest of the world is only just beginning to panic. Makoko remains a delicate balance. It deals with immense challenges: lack of formal sanitation, limited access to clean water, and the constant threat of climate change. Yet, it stands as the testament to human adaptability. It's a place where the rhythm of life is dictated by the tide, and where the floating people of Lagos continue to navigate a world that is still learning how to see them. Skyscrapers of the cities grow taller, reaching for a sky they did not own. But down here, in the shadow of the Great Bridge, the water remains. It has survived the empires, the chainsaw, and the storms, because you cannot sink a city that has already learned how to swim. As night falls, the 10th mainland bridge becomes the ribbon of light. Thousands of commuters are rushing over Makoko, rarely looking down. But down here, the water is a dark sink. The oil lamp flickers to life in the windows, reflected 1,000 times in the ripples of the wake. Lagos is a city that never sleeps, but Makoko is a city that never sinks. It remains fluid, stubborn, and profoundly alive. It remembers that as long as there is wood to build and water to float, the Egun will be here, hardly into